Good morning and happy Monday. Today we will continue onto a new story. It's our grade level story. It's titled Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars. Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars. That is the title of the story. Remember, the title is the name of the story. This story has a couple of characters' names in the title. There's an older gentleman, looks like Grandpa. He is Mr. Putter, okay? And then there's his very close friend, who's not a person, who's an animal, and the animal is a cat, okay? Which I don't recommend getting one, but some people really enjoy cats. I enjoy dogs and guinea pigs. Anyhow, so the story is kind of interesting, and the essential question of the story is, what can we see in the sky? So this is really great because we're kind of crossing the curriculum lines with science as well, and it's nice we were able to see that. Well, let me show you what I'm looking at, because I have to tell you, this cat of Mr. Putter's is very reliable. It's very good. He always wants to be with that cat, and the cat always wants to be with him. Cat really can't say anything mean to him, and he's always very kind to the cat. So it's like they have this great relationship together. It's a friendship. Some people think that friends have to talk back and forth to each other, but there is a way that we can send messages to animals, and I feel like a dog can be your best friend. Well, let's move on. Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars is the title. Let's take a look at that front cover page. There he is. Now that's going to let us know probably what's happening later on in the story. Maybe you'll just take a walk to the mailbox and look at those beautiful stars in the sky. And the objective of this lesson we have to always think about is the sequencing plot chart. Plot is a very, you hear the word, you're like, oh God, what does that mean? Well, it just means the cool stuff that happens in the story, the interesting events in the story, okay? So sequencing it is just putting it in order. What happened in the beginning of the story? We're going to write down what happened in the beginning of the Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars story. So let's get started. Chapter 1. Well, if you haven't read a chapter book before, here you go. Chapter books are your second graders, and chapter books are a great way to learn different things in different parts and pieces, okay? So the first chapter, and all the chapters kind of go together, so the meaning of the whole story is continued. It's not a story about him and the cat in the first chapter, and then a story about him and a goat in the second chapter. So the whole story is going to have different chapters, all about the relationship between these two living things, Mr. Putter and Tabby the cat. And maybe there'll be some more characters that pop up in the story as well. Well, let's get cracking. Logs. Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby loved to sleep. Doesn't everybody? They could sleep anywhere. They slept in chairs and swings, in cars, in tubs, and sometimes in the laundry room. Oh man, they love napping. Mr. Putter and Tabby also slept in a bed, of course, most of the time. Sleeping in a bed was just fine. Mr. Putter plumped his pillow, Tabby squished hers, and then they slept like logs. But one night, one of the logs could not sleep. Are they really a log? No, but when people are sleeping, they do the same things as a log. They're very still. They don't move. You know, let's take a look at a log. Not moving an inch. Yep, there's a log. And that's what they're comparing to the type of sleep to. They're sleeping like logs. And that's a really good way to sleep. So, Mr. Putter was the log who could not sleep. He could not sleep because he had eaten too many pineapple jelly rolls at Mrs. T-Berry's house. Whoop. New character. We have Mr. Putter. We have Tabby. Now there's a new character. What's the character's name? Was anybody listening? Mrs. Teaberry. Very good. These are kind of tricky names. In the grade level stories, they always squeeze those tricky names in. Very, very, tough names. Mr. Putter, Mrs. Teaberry. Okay, not too bad. But he had eaten too many pineapple jelly rolls. And what happens when you eat too much of a junky food like pineapple jelly rolls? It's a sweet, like a dessert snack, a breakfast snack. Yeah, that's right. You could get a stomach ache. Anytime you eat too much stuff, if you eat too much candy after you go trick-or-treating on Halloween, your belly will start to grumble and you can get a stomach ache, and it hurts sometimes. Mrs. Teaberry was Mr. Putter's good friend. Now, we're on chapter 2 right now. I'm reading just the very first page of that because I want to include something in the plot sequencing chart. Mr. Putter's good friend and neighbor. That's who Miss Teaberry is. That's a neighbor or a person who lives directly next door or in the neighborhood with her. And she liked to feed him. Oh, so I guess he must be in what my grandma calls the Clean Plate Club. Clean Plate Club is you do a really good job at dinner, eating all your food. Even the vegetables, the good stuff for you, not just the stuff that tastes good, the stuff that's good for your body. She liked to feed everybody, but most of all, she loved feeding Mr. Putter. Of course, if she's a good eater, she's gonna wanna cook him big meals. If you make beautiful chicken cutlets and everyone says, oh, we don't like chicken cutlets, are you gonna want to make them again? Probably not. Just make sure you say nice things when you're at the dinner table. All right, well, I'm not going to go on too much more about this story. We just cracked the surface of the second story, and I think this is going to be kind of interesting. And one of the things I haven't shared with you is my special pet. I sometimes call my dogs, and I say, Rusty, Mr. Beats, come, and they run right up to me. But if the mommy's around, Mrs. Ehrlinger, sometimes they don't listen to me. So tomorrow, not today, tomorrow I'm going to share with you my favorite pet in the house, okay? And it's not a fish. His name is Brownie. He will nap with me. He will be friendly with me. He will be kind to me. He makes me happy. If I'm sad, sometimes I'll be with him and he'll make me feel better. My dogs can definitely do that. If I'm sitting on the couch, I'm not having a great day, I could pet them and kind of be like, hey buddy, what's up? And I'll feel better. But tomorrow is all about Brownie, my number one guy, my number one pet. All right, guys, I'm sure you probably know what Brownie is, what kind of an animal he is. I'm gonna let you make some predictions in your head. Make a type of guess of what kind of animal you think Brownie is. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? We'll continue on our grade level story, Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars. Have a great day, everybody.